Hello, hello, hello. Hello. What's up, everybody? How are we all doing this fine Sunday evening? Hello. Hello, Aster Productions. Hello, Diego the Man Scott. Hello, Commander Malvis. Hello, Casts and Customs. And hello to everyone who is not watching this live, I guess. Thank you very much for tuning in. So what I'm doing just now is, this is of course the third part of my making of Doctor Doom's Destroyer. In previous parts, what did we see? We saw me adding articulation into the feet. We saw me... What else did I do? What did I do last time? I can't remember. Did I do some sculpting? Yes, I think I did. I did some sculpting and gluing and stuff. So where have I got to now? He's obviously all silver now. I airbrushed him with black primer, and then I've airbrushed him just with gun metal, very dark silver. And I guess that's about it. I've dremeled down all his joints to prevent paint rub. Of course, I've added in the LEDs, and since last time I've coloured them green. I was going back and forth on what colour they should be in the comic. You can see in the backdrop here. His chest lights are blue and his eyes are red, but I've gone with green. It's more Dr. Doomy. There we go. And what I'm working on just now, well, obviously this is not the paint finished. I'm going to have to do a lot of black washes and to get all the shadowing into all these recesses. It's looking very flat at the moment, and then do some dry brushing and highlighting to bring out the all the detail, the edges of that, just make it more interesting. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I've also disassembled quite a lot of them. You can see his arms are apart. I was dremeling down parts so there wouldn't get any paint rub. And that's it really. So I've been dremeling down the discs in the wrists so I won't get paint rub in there. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I've still got painting to do. I also have... I'm also doing his cape. And I've already started that. It's made from satin, so it has a nice sort of, it just falls nicely. It's not too rigid, doesn't look silly at the scale. It's going to be kind of hard to show you what I'm thinking here, but the cape, as it hangs from his shoulders, has a dip in it in the back. So essentially I'm wanting the cape to be attached under the shoulder pads and kind of fold and hang down his back here, exposing some of that back. Sexy, right? That's hot. And I'm not sure what to do with the whether to have it raggedy, because I think the Destroyer's a battle armour, but then again, would Doctor Doom be raggedy. You know, it's kind of that balance. So I don't know where I'm going with that quite yet. But on one of the edges here, I've already sewn in a wire along that edge. So that's a posable edge, that one. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be... where's the other side? Here it is here. I think I'm going to be sewing a piece of wire along that side. Might not be the most thrilling thing for you to watch, to be honest, but there we are. Something that I have done, after I cut this material, the satin, even if you use really sharp scissors for fabric, it still always frays a little, inevitably. Not sure you can see that there. So what I do is I just hit the edge there with some fabric glue just to stop it from fraying any further. And then it does make the edge go a little bit stiff, but it's not too bad. And then once I've folded it over and sewn it, I can then go in with a really small pair of scissors and just trim up those edges, make them really neat, and get rid of any of the frayed sort of areas. That seems to work well for me. So, that's where I'm at just now. So before I go on with that, I'll just check and see what people in the chat are saying, if you don't mind. And welcome to anyone that I haven't already said welcome to. Benjamin Hunt, Aster Productions, ask me how I am. I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Daniel Perdomo Fragoso, sorry. Benjamin Hunt asks, what did you to the chest holes? I'm not sure what you're meaning there, but I'll talk about the chest holes. The chest holes are dremeled out, just with a Dremel, of course, and then the LEDs are in the back there, with all the wiring leading through to the battery pack that's on his back, hidden by this mess of sculpt, held in place by magnets. And then I filled these with, I painted the LEDs green, and then I filled the cavities in with epoxy resin, and that made a nice sort of lens to fill in that gap. So that's what I did for the chest holes. I hope that answers what you were asking, Benjamin. Kyle Harris asks, why do I always start my streams when Kyle is about to have his dinner? It's because I'm wicked, Kyle. Aster Productions is saying maybe have the bottom of the cape all frayed. It's, yeah, I'm not sure where I want to go with it. Now, part of the problem with making a frayed edge of a cape is then that you can't have wire in it. Your wire would have to go around it. If you fray any part of the edge, like any part of it, it's just going to, like that bit could be posable and then that bit wouldn't be posable, and then the bit on the other side would be posable, so effectively it's not posable at all. So it's just a sort of balancing act with how posable I want the cape to be. Sorry, I'm reading more messages in the chat. Mike Ogerman says he's been going over my old vlogs and he forgot how great they were, I take it, and how it makes him want to go make customs again. Please do, Mike. Share them with us all. Touchtone Dialing asks, how was Japan? Any highlights? I've not been to Japan yet. I go to Japan this Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. Commander Malvis asks, what form of fabric is that? It's satin. Michael Wisman asks, have I seen the cape tutorial where he cuts two pieces of fabric, sews them together, adds wire along the inside, then flips it inside out? Yes, that's Super Tom. Super Tom does that. I feel that I think it looks great, but for me it's a little bit too thick. I think at this scale, the thickness of the fabric is already pushing plausibility to then have it doubled over. And also I feel that it has a strange sort of double seam along the edge, almost like a a duvet cover or something like that, you know. It's yeah. But I mean, I like the look of it, but for me it's not what I want to do. How Flapjack asks, how do you pick the fabric for customs? I actually just go into the fabric store and use these hands and go around and feel stuff. I previously got a different, bear with me just a second. I previously got a different, bear with me again while I belch. I previously got this satin, but I think it's more of a satin polyester blend. It's much more rigid than the other satin. It doesn't fall as nicely as this one. I don't know if that's coming across in the camera well, but you see in my hand, this one on the right just follows the contour and just hangs more naturally than the one on the left. It sort of resists taking, folding up in my hand. It's a bit more rigid, and that makes all the difference, I feel. So that's the kind of thing you can only really notice if you go in and actually handle the fabric in the store. If you're buying online, chances are you won't get what you're after. And there we go. Righty, I've also got a cup of tea here, so. Righty. What I'll do, I'll try and sew this. Now normally I don't actually sew here at my workstation. I'm always concerned about the fabric picking up any stray paint or wetness or I don't know, glue or stuff that's on my worktop. I've cleaned it very thoroughly this time. I normally do the sewing somewhere else. So I've got my thread. I've got my needle. Sorry, bopped you. Now I need my wire. If this gets super boring, please do let me know, because it's just the same thing over and over again. Now what I do is I make a little loop with my pliers in the wire at the end. This is floristry wire. Artists who use, if you can't understand my accent, that's for artists who use flowers, florists. Floristry wire. So what I'm going to be doing is make a little loop at the end of the wire, and then I put that against the tip of the cape there, and I pass the needle through there a few times, and that locks the wire in place. If you just try and sew round the wire, it'll just of course slide out. So you want to have this this loop that you can sew through. Oh, good lord. The length of thread that I have, where is it? Jesus. The length of thread that I have is, it's difficult to work with a huge amount of thread. God, I'm picking up all sorts of fibres. So this is about twice the length of the edge that I'm going to be sewing along. So this thread is about twice that. Aster Productions asked me, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2? God, you can't go far without someone bringing up a fucking superhero movie, can you? Yes, I have. Or that space movie that happened to have the same names as a Marvel comic, but the characters bore no relation to it. Is that the movie, Captain? Yep. Enjoyable movie, much like the first one. Fuck all to do with the comic in any way, shape, or form. But we can't hold that against it, can we? What I'm trying to do is tie a knot in the end of the thread here. Try and tie a knot and then try another knot on top of it. I'm just terrible at this part. Oh my god. So I'm just tying knots over and over and over it seems. Until they... Oh god, that'll do. Righty. Star Wars Fan 13 says he wants to get the Thriller Michael Jackson figure I reviewed. Do I have any idea what it's going for these days? Nope, sorry. Maybe check eBay or something. That would be your best bet. Oh god, look at that, I've already dropped the fucking thread out of the needle. It's going well. I thought sculpting and painting on camera was difficult. Look at this, Jesus. Like I said, I'm just passing the thread back and forth through this loop. Oh god. Part of the problem with hitting the edge with that fabric glue that I mentioned doing earlier is that it then becomes obviously quite more difficult to pass the needle through it because it's tough. I'll get there. So now I've anchored that a little. Thank you for whoever used the word anchor there. That's exactly what I was trying to convey. Good word for it. Now that I've anchored that, I'm going to try and fold the edge of the fabric over the wire and stitch it in. Finicky stuff. Right, let's put the needle down. Figure this out. As you'll see, I am no seamstress. I'm just going to try and keep my stitches as small as possible. My needle just fell off again. Right, sorry everyone, what are people saying? Benjamin Hun asked me what kind of tea do I prefer. Well, I drink green tea when I'm at work, and I drink normal breakfast tea, I guess we call it, when I'm at home, with milk and 2 sugars in my breakfast tea, that is, not in my green tea. That would be disgusting. Flapjack says he would like to know what people who make figures for Hasbro think of my customs. That would be interesting. Yeah, I'd like to know that too. It's always a highlight for me when Jesse Falcon on Facebook, he likes one of my customs. He just hits that like button. It means a lot. But to be honest, I don't know who the people who make figures for Hasbro are, so they could be sending me messages all the time and I wouldn't actually know. Unless they said, hey, I'm the guy that makes figures for Hasbro. Michael Wisman, first Michael Leal says, "Hello Craig, I'm a big fan, love your customs." Thank you very much, Michael. Now Michael Wisman, he says, "Without spoilers, did I like the Stan Lee cameos in Guardians of the Galaxy 2? They're fine. More interest. I'm kind of over Stan Lee cameos, to be honest. It's kind of sad watching the man get progressively older and older and not even able to sort of stand up in his cameos anymore. But hey, that's life, huh? So sorry, you may see me sort of hesitating quite a bit and try to sort this wire out. It's because it keeps getting on the wrong side of the floristry wire, and I don't want it to get all knotted up around that. It's very frustrating. I guess this is why people don't make more wired capes, because sewing is a fucking pain in the arse. A lot of patience. Michael Leal asks, where do I get the wire for the cape from? I buy it from a hobby store called Hobbycraft in the UK, but I'm sure you can get it pretty much anywhere. Here you are. This is the type I use. It's 22 SWG. I think that's standard wire gauge or something. So it's a 10-inch long 22 gauge wire. So you can actually just Google that, put it into Amazon, you'll find it. Go to your hobby shop and ask, and they will point it out to you. God, have I done it again? I think I've got a knot somewhere in this wire. This thread is not passing through as easily as it once was. It always happens to me. Am I on the wrong side of the bloody wire again? Yes. This is very thrilling for you, I'm sure. All this time and I've gone about 2 centimetres along this 10-inch wire. Aster Productions asked, did I get any comics yesterday? Saying as it was free comic book day. No. Unfortunately, I didn't go near a comic book store. What did I do yesterday? My friend came over to visit yesterday, so we watched some movies. We watched Beyond the Gates. It's supposed to be, well, we were looking in like the supermarket for a sort of crap horror movie to watch, and that one jumped out. It's supposed to be like, you know, those board games you used to get where you had to put in the video cassette at the same time and it would occasionally speak to you. It was supposed to be kind of like a Jumanji, but that horror sort of thing, but it was absolutely terrible. Like, the characters, instead of playing the game, kept going to bed or having breakfast or doing anything other than play the game. It was just completely frustrating and terrible. So that's Beyond the Gates. Don't watch that one. The bits where they did play the game, they were alright. Then we watched RuPaul's Drag Race and RuPaul's Drag Race Untucked, so that was the usual for this season of RuPaul. Not that good. Oops. And then we watched The Void, which was a horror movie. It's supposed to be Lovecraftian, and that it kind of was, and it was really good up until halfway through, and then it got really derivative and very, very dull. Didn't do anything we hadn't seen before, so that was disappointing because we'd saved that one up to watch it together. That was disappointing. And then we watched Kaidan, Japanese horror movie from 1964. That's a total masterpiece, so that was good. Really enjoyed that. And that was that. So that's what I did instead of going to Free Comic Book Day. Sorry, that's where that story came from. G-Man says, how would I feel if Mezco ripped off my Doom custom for the 112 collective, considering I use cloth on his body mould? I don't know. Depends if they did it better than me or not, right? Which, not to be big-headed, but given their track record, I don't think they would do it better than me, but there we are. You never know. I only use cloth for his cape and his skirt. There's no cloth beyond that. I would think that Doctor Doom would actually be a good one for them to do. Oh, I'm making a mess of this. I think they struggle to make the superheroes look good because their costumes in general just don't work as realistic, sort of, in a realistic aesthetic. They have to put like shoulder pads and all sorts of big bulky things on them, seams, to make their costumes work in that sort of aesthetic. But I think Doctor Doom would perhaps be a good choice for them there. Because they're already doing that sort of sculpted armour Iron Man, which looks okay. I have seen Guardians of the Galaxy, thanks everyone who keeps asking. The Basketball News Kenny says, I've just made a custom Deadpool. Cool, you and 10 million other people. How did you find it? Was it difficult? Was it challenging? What did you do differently? to make it yours. Given that there's a pretty decent Deadpool figure out there now, so it's quite readily available. Oh my god. This is really pissing me off. How does this keep happening so that I can avoid it from happening? Is it because I'm right-handed? And stitching from the left? You know, I think it might be. Adam Wrestling Fan asked me who is my favourite villain. It's Doctor Doom. And Plastic Goodies got that right. Diego the Man Scott asks, am I getting the Revoltech Venom? Nope, I'm not. I don't really like that aesthetic they're going for. My Venom, or the Venom that I like, when I first came across Venom, he was an evil Spider-Man. You know, he was a little bit bigger than Spider-Man, but it was very much just the black, sleek Spider-Man with a wicked mouth on him, not the hulking, tendril oozing monster that he's sometimes portrayed as. So I just don't really, I know a lot of people do like it, but I'm not a huge fan of that kind of look for Venom. And that Revoltech Venom really sells that look. Like, it really runs with it. And he's really, really monstrous. And that's, despite it being, I mean, if it was any other monster, I'd probably think it was much cooler, but it's just, you know, that look for Venom, not a fan of it. I'm always thinking, is there still a man inside there? How can there be? His arms would be stretched apart and that kind of thing. Matan asks, why won't I just glue the wire to the cape? Because the glue can get quite messy. Also, the thread is stronger. That's why your clothes are sewn together and not just glued. The Doom in the background, his wire is glued into his cape rather than sewn. And that's totally fine. But that's not what I do. Anymore. since my Swarm and Doctor Strange customs, I prefer to sew. I think it just gives a cleaner finish. And this material that I'm using now, with Doctor Doom I used cotton, and it, you know, in retrospect it looks a little bit cheap. But now I'm using satin, and satin doesn't respond well to fabric glue. I don't know why that is. I'm not a textiles person, but I just know that's the case. I've just been sewing this for 45 minutes. You're all entertained. Hey, it's action figure customizing. It's not always exciting, though. I feel like I'm making a bit better progress now that I've switched over to this. Just turned the thing round so I'm not sewing from the left anymore. Star Wars Fan 13 asks, do I still own the Michael Jackson Thriller figure? Oh my god, why are you obsessed with that Michael Jackson figure? Yes, I do, actually. Is your next question, can you buy it? Because, no. Go buy it from eBay. I don't know, you'll find it somewhere. Adam Wrestling Fan asks, what has been the most fun custom of mine to make? I did enjoy making the Doctor Doom you see here. That was a very big project and that went hand in hand with the diorama, and it's obviously one of my favourite characters, and it involved me, you can go and watch the vlogs, you'll see it involved me doing a lot of research, going out and looking at how castles are constructed, what their brickwork is like, and looking at cathedrals, stained glass windows, thinking about stage sets, heraldic imagery. That was all very interesting. You know, it was putting that sort of art education that I got in high school to use. They taught me that process of research, design, and production. So I was putting that to use. So it was engaging. And then when it came to making the figure itself, it was also sort of challenging to reimagine Doctor Doom's costume in a way that says something about my view of the character. So, you know, ceremonial, technological, but also sort of, you know, putting the button-up tunic on him, making it look more like he's a doctor. You know, it reads as a doctor's outfit. And then also adding in the, if I hadn't been doing the diorama at the same time and hadn't been imagining the heraldic beasts, the sort of lion and the unicorn, ensnared by his dark magic sort of tentacles thing, if I hadn't been working on that, I probably wouldn't have come up with the idea for the tentacles on his armour as well, and sort of building that into a theme for my Doctor Doom, and that says something about the sort of dark magic angle of him as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed making that custom. And there was, I made him from a Marvel Now Captain America, which kind of had a sort of neat irony to me, because they were when I first got into action figures and Marvel, it was through the Secret Wars series, and Doom was the leader of the bad guys and Cap was the leader of the good guys, and they always seemed like they were arch enemies to me. Even in comics they're not particularly, but that's how I always viewed them. So there was kind of a nice irony to me making Doctor Doom out of Captain America. So yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a nice process to go through, and very engaging to a degree that I don't think I've been engaged by any other custom I've made. Have some tea. It's now stone cold. AWPWN. Do I keep forgetting how to say that username? Anyway, what do you think of the Mezco Iron Man? It doesn't appear to have any soft goods material. Yeah, it looks okay. It's kind of a weird design for Iron Man. Kind of classic but modern. I feel like Mezco they needlessly complicate their designs. They add a lot of seams, like Doctor Doom's sort of thing. They just seem, not Doctor Doom, sorry, Doctor Strange's design that they've given him. He's got a lot of like lines on him, like he's sort of like the Under Armour sort of thing where you just draw panel lines on it. So I'm kind of confused by why they've gone for like a classic Iron Man, but kind of made it more future-y. But at the same time, it's at least something, it's a design choice, which I always appreciate. What else? Yeah, it looks good with all the alternate parts and the light up features and all that. It's obviously very cool. Still, their bodies seem a little oddly proportioned, but yeah, I think of all their figures, that's the one that I'd be most interested to check out in person. All the others, I'm just like, yeah, I can see that online, I understand what that is. But I'd like to see that in person. G-Man says, love that you interact with your fan base. Well, thank you. Benjamin Hunt says, have you got any Mezco figures? Like G-Man says, I have Judge Dredd. But that's it. Kyle Harris says, I usually customise while watching your streams, but today I'm tidying my room as it looks like the bog of eternal stench. Do I get that reference? Of course I get that reference. You have no power over me. It's more, looks like the bog, it should smell or sound like the bog, surely. Benjamin Hunt says, I'm thinking about doing a part cloth jacket for the Shadow custom. The Shadow. You mean the pulp hero with the scarf around his face and the revolvers, or the two guns? Not really. I've never made a coat for any of my customs. What I'd recommend is looking at how real coats are constructed and scale that down. And be ready to try it a couple of times. Use as thin as but opaque fabric as you can. And yeah, there's a lot of people doing cloth customs these days, and they're just a little bit of a nightmare, to be honest, but there we are. Just be critical of your own work, stand back, take a look at it. Does it look like a bespoke work of art, or does it look like a dollar store Barbie? Darby. Adam Wrestling Fan says, sorry Craig, do you know if Ian has Instagram or Facebook? Ian? Oh, okay. I think I know who you're talking about. He has both, but if you want to send him a message about something that may make him sad, I would maybe think twice about that. You may be better off posting something on one of Glenn's videos. Maybe the better way to express something that way. That way, when he sees it, he knows what to expect. It's not a message out of the blue that suddenly is talking about something very upsetting. Oh, it's Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Diego the Man Scott says, what do I think of the YouTube action figure community of today? I'm not really that big a part of it, to be honest. I don't pay a huge amount of attention to it. But yeah, it seems fine. Everyone's trying to be a superstar, as usual. Just do your own thing, and if you happen to get famous doing it, go ahead, but you know, the rush to be the first person with stuff is frustrating. To break news, to review, you know, movie stuff, it's just, I don't know. It's I like YouTube videos when they're entertaining beyond just what they're about. Like, I'm obviously into action figures, but I want to watch an action figure YouTube video if it's going to be funny on its own merits, or entertaining, or something well thought out, that kind of thing. I'm not that great at doing that myself. Obviously, I'm live streaming here, and then I just throw up 60-second showcases with not a huge amount of thought, although they're becoming more difficult to make now. I script them fully and try and get everything I can into them. and make them entertaining as well. But it is a challenge, obviously. And I don't get money from this, so, or any money worth anything. It's obviously like pennies floating through every month. But yeah. I guess it's one follows the other. The more effort you put in, the more money you make out of it, I guess. But because I'm not making the money out of it, I'm not putting in that huge amount of effort. Adam Wrestling Fan says, if I had to pick one member to join the Guardians of the Galaxy, who would it be? One person to join the Guardians of the Galaxy, who would it be? Maybe Phyla-Vell, Moondragon, Adam Warlock. You know, the people who were in the Guardians in the comic. Probably Moondragon, to be honest. Of all of the characters that I think have gone through the roster of the Guardians, I think she's my favourite. She's one of the greatest martial artists in the universe. Telekinetic, psychic, arrogant, self-centered, megalomaniacal at times, and she's also lesbian, so that would be interesting, especially in the movies, which are very much still a straight man's fantasy. So that would be at least a different angle for them to take. Sorry, Star Wars fan, I'm just getting to your comment now. Yes, I did see you were obsessed. You did only ask two questions about it. I'm certain you asked one last time though, didn't you? Anyway, yes. It's just that it's a strange figure to keep going back on. Yeah, didn't mean any offence by that. Dalek News asks, who's my favourite Avenger? Can I say Moondragon again? I don't know, everyone's an Avenger these days, but probably the Scarlet Witch or the Vision. Adam Wrestling Fan says, if Marvel or Star Wars didn't exist, what customs would I make as another theme? So make video games ones, I guess. Horror movie ones. Oh. Right, hold on, Craig. I had a break there and I came at this from the wrong side. Oh, saved it. I hadn't made a mistake for quite a while there, and then I go messing it up. Adam Wrestling Fan says, what was the worst custom I've ever made or the biggest custom fail? I tried to make a Mysterio long time ago. It's been almost 8 years ago. Mysterio from his days when he fought the Ben Reilly Spider-Man. He had that sort of he kind of looked a bit like Dormammu, I guess. He kind of had his head enveloped in a sort of ball of mist rather than the globe we're used to, and I tried to make that using hot glue and put a light in it, and it just didn't work at all. It was just terrible, so scrapped that. So that's the worst one. I didn't get very far with that, so it's not like I fully finished the figure and then didn't like it. I just couldn't do the head, and I did that first because I knew that would be the major challenge. AWPWN says, did I get the LEDs to work? Yes, I did. Sorry, just to show you again. There you go. Oh, it's going to fall over. Righty. Juanito Spider-Man says, first time joining you live. I've always missed them, but I greatly enjoy watching you work. Thank you very much. Good to have you here live. Quantum Fusion says, I like Marvel Legends, but I'm limited to the movie figures as they can eat your life. They certainly can. I'm limited in the opposite direction. I try not to get the movie figures. Adam Wrestling Fan, just on the subject of contacting Glenn's spouse, that he wouldn't ever say anything to make him sad. He just wondering if there are any pics of Glenn's collection. You can go to Glenn's YouTube channel and look at the final video there. That was Ian doing a video, and he showed you all of the collection that Glenn had set up and explained about the collection there. So just to reiterate that, people think that Glenn had his collection along shelves. He really didn't. He had about 5 shelves that he put some figures up in his living room, and all the rest of them were in plastic bags in drawers. There was nothing really to see. In his final days, Glenn did start setting up displays in Detolfs to show everyone, and that's what you can see in that final video on Glenn's channel. Christopher776 says, when I'm done with the cape, you have a hole in his shirt that needs patching up. Yeah, sure. Come here and give me your shirt. Should I get shirtless for me, Christopher? Want to do that? Asta Productions says, YouTube is oversaturated with action figure reviewers and news channels. Rob Pollock and Toy Galaxy stand out amongst them as they put a lot of effort and get straight to the point. Very, very true. They do indeed. Star Wars Fan 13 asks, would I ever consider buying a Hot Toys figure? If so, which one? Or do you think they're way too overpriced? I don't think they're overpriced for what they are. I just think they're in a scale that I don't enjoy. And the Iron Man figures tend to look very good, but I don't like what they do with cloth, to be honest. I wish they would maybe airbrush their cloth or something. But I just don't have any interest in Hot Toys figures. I have a friend who is mental for them. He's got lots and lots and he displays them all on his Detolf. But I don't know, I just feel at that scale you never display them very dynamically. I always see Hot Toys figures just standing there. So they don't come across as like action figures to me. They're definitely more like soft sculpture or something. I'm not sure what to call them, but they just don't have the joy of toys about them. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, they're not for me so far. BDC Diesel says, as usual, I missed the beginning of the video. Any updated work in progress drawings? None, sorry. You always enjoy seeing the concept art versus what I end up with. This one, I haven't been doing a lot of concept art with it. I've just been trying to see where this custom will take me. I started out this custom kind of thinking, yeah, I'll just do up this Marvel Select Destroyer as a sort of Doctor Doom version. It'll be a sort of quick and nasty custom. Simple, but it's kind of going its own way, and the more I think about it and try to tie it in with the Doctor Doom piece I've got already. So I'm just taking it slowly, it seems. I'm almost to the end of it. Look at that, I've only got that little bit of wire left. And I want to create another loop at that end to anchor it. I wonder if I'll be able to live stream from Japan. I wonder if my internet connection will be good enough for that. That'd be cool, huh? Would you like me to go around some toy stores for you? Go toy hunting in Japan? That'd be cool. I think the Japanese, even when I was there, over 10 years ago now, they were very strict about photography in public. In stores, certainly. Because everyone ends up taking a photo of a schoolgirl's skirt. But we'll see how it is. See what I can do. Might be fun. You can all join me to go round the shops. Ghost Rider 2005 says, if you could have a Lady Deadpool, Marvel Legend or an X-23 one, which would you choose? X-23, because I don't really know anything about Lady Deadpool. Long time fans will probably know that Deadpool ain't my kind of guy. And then everyone beneath that comment says, yep, X-23, because Craig does not like Deadpool. Yup. I'm going to get a poster that says, yes, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Should I do that? Just put it up in the background. Adam Wrestling Fan says, would you ever consider just making accessories for a figure? I guess I would. I mean, I would never say never to any sort of random thing like that. There's characters I would say no to, scales that I would say no to, but nothing like accessories. Right, so I'm at the other end of this, so again there's that little hoop that I'm going to use as my anchor to keep the wire in place. That went straight into my cuticle. That was good. Ouch. There we go. Snip off the thread and get a little bit of fabric glue wherever I put that. It's behind me. And just dot it on. Get that thread in place. Okay, so normally with a cape I would also hem this bottom edge, or as I did with Doctor Strange, I would put a wire along it. Doctor Doom does not have a wire in the bottom edge of his cape. Doctor Strange does, because it's much bigger and needs to obviously defy, it's a cloak of levitation, so it defies gravity, whereas Doctor Doom's kind of just hangs a lot more. So anyway, with this one I've yet to decide whether I'm going to have a raggedy end or a nice clean one. Let me let's put in some blue tack there. Right. So I'll just actually super glue or pin the cape under there to the shoulder pad. And then that'll anchor it, so then these bits can then articulate out. Sorry, I'm covering that up. But yeah, I think I agree with what everyone's saying, that a raggedy edge along the bottom would look nice. Oh, of course it falls down. Can't get it to sit right because it's not glued in place. But there's that sort of open backed look. And obviously when I glue this in place, what I'll do is I will create little sort of peaks and trenches in the cape and then glue it in place, and then it just hangs much more interestingly down the back. So yes, anyway, that's the cape for the moment. What do we think? I'm going to go through your comments now, try and catch up. Thank you for chatting while I've been boring you stupid, sorry about that. Spoondude asks, will I do a Warrack workshop for this figure? I think I will. The idea behind Warrack Workshop was to keep the reveals of my customs sort of short, and sort of the idea behind the inspiration and the techniques separate in the workshop. So I think I'll do that again. Aidan Maldonado asks, how long is this custom taking me so far? Long time. I'm not sure of the exact amount of hours. But sometimes I just sit with it in my hands and just watch the TV. Don't really do anything with it. Just think about it. Uravana says, hi Craig, I'm new to your channel and have become a fan of your work. Love the passion you put into your customs. Greetings from Mexico. Thank you very much, Uravana. Good to have you here. Adam Wrestling Fan asks, what line do I prefer, Legends or Diamond Select? And why Legends? Diamond Select, they're good. They're, as a line though, they are not consistent. Their scale is all over the place, even within the line. The amount of articulation they put in is all over the place, even within the line. The characters they do is all over the place. They're just all over the place. Legends, I feel there is a continuity. Even recently there's been a lot of, they look like they belong together, they live in the same universe. Skywarp55, can I do a custom Optimus Prime? Sorry, it's not really my area, Transformers Skywarp, but thanks for asking. Star Wars Fan 13 asks, do I have any custom projects planned after this, or do I just wait till a good idea pops in my head and go to work on it when the time is right? Yes, basically. Yes, I do. That's exactly what I do. I always have a sort of a general idea of what kind of figures I want to make at some point in the future, but it's all about what inspiration hits me at the time. So we'll see. Benjamin Hunt asks, did I add the spikes on the shoulder pads? If so, how? Will we take a look at them? Very simply, here's the shoulder pad. The spikes going through the shoulder pad are, let me get the originals for you. These things, they're called cuticle sticks. They're for fixing your cuticles. And they have this, one edge is a sort of flattened edge, wedge, which is actually very useful for sculpting, and this edge is pointed edge. These spikes are those. I drilled a hole in the shoulder pad, just big enough to wedge one of those through, glued it in place, obviously cut off the excess, and then put some sculpt around it and just worked it with my fingers until it was smooth and started that sort of cone shape, and that's it. So that's what they are. What kind of paint do you use on your customs, asks Blade Wilson. I use Games Workshop Citadel paints, and I also use Vallejo Air paints. I use Vallejo Air when I'm airbrushing, as I did with the primer and the silver on this. When I do detail with my brush, I'll be using Games Workshop paints. Aidan Maldonado says, what has been your favourite custom so far? The Process, Doctor Doom, the Final Thing, Ganon. McSmullian says, is it just me that thinks that apart from the cosmic side of the MCU, everything in the film looks very boring? Well, also the cosmic side of the MCU looks boring as well, given how it looks in the comics, but there we are. I mean, Star-Lord is a man in a t-shirt with trousers on. It's not very interesting, is it? Thank you for joining us, Adam Wrestling Fan. Take care. Sleep well. Mick Hoffmeyer says, do you think Hasbro will use the Taskmaster body parts for their Doctor Doom that will surely come? No, I do not think they will. I don't think, just because it's a man in armour, it's not Doctor Doomish. Doctor Doom has very specific armour. Like, I know I worked with it a lot, but he has, he actually has like the boots and the big gloves and that sort of thing. Taskmaster, I don't think would work for Doctor Doom, but wouldn't put it past them. Quantum Fusion asked, the paint matches the base colour amazingly. How long did it take you to get the right shade? The base colour of what? Because you can't see any of the base colour of the Destroyer just now. It's all gone. It's all hidden. You might be able to see it a little bit on the inside of the the arm there. It's that. So it really isn't all that similar. It's much, much darker. The paint job on the Destroyer was excellent. By the way, I really liked the tones they got in it, in the nice glossy finish. Have I ever collected Star Wars figures? Yes, I have. I collected them when they first came out back in the 70s and 80s. Am I excited for the vintage collection coming back? And no, not particularly. No. We just leave that over there. Here, Victor, can you guard that for me? There we go. Blade Wilson, what is the best paint to use when you paint Spider-Man's eyes to make them look shiny? Silver? It's probably best to paint them the colour you want them and then use a gloss varnish or something. And to get the finish you want on them. So there's two things. There's the colour and there's the finish. So those are separate. Kyle Harris, how much longer am I going to stream for? Maybe, I don't know, not a whole lot longer to be honest. I might do a little bit of dry brushing. Just to do something else. I might do a bit of washing as well. Oops, this is all my paintbrushes falling around. Righty, what'll I do? I'll get my Citadel Black and I'll get a really nice bright silver for dry brushing. Right, finer brush as well. There's a nice one. Let's use that. Mick Hoffmeyer asks, have I ever made joints from scratch for a custom? Yes, I did them with the toes of this Destroyer, and you can go check out part 1 if you want to see me do that. Quantum Fusion asks, are my Doom's arms fixed in that position? Yes, they are, but they also, he has alternate arms. These are Victor's normal arms. You see? So this is just one, well, it's just a single sculpted piece. It just pops onto his shoulders and gives him his crossed arms. So when I'm posing my Doctor Doom, if he's standing up trying to look menacing, I tend to have him with his folded arms. But it looks kind of stupid when he's sitting on his throne with folded arms. Looks like he's just sitting there like a petulant child. So I give him his normal arms if he's sitting down, or if he's doing anything else. Is all the sculpting done? Maybe. Might be. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when I'm finished. With the sometimes when I paint something, it's like it just doesn't seem to have enough detail. So I go back in and let's do his torso actually. God, that is some sloppy ass painting. So I'm just hitting the edges of the layers of the armour just to give it some shadow. And yeah, just by using, you probably guys probably know this already, but just by using a very watery wash of the black, it runs into the recess between the armour lines there and just sort of pulls there, creating that illusion of shadow in the recesses. Tac Tac Custom says, would I ever create a custom based on the old Toy Biz figures, for example, Space Wolverine, etc.? Yeah, that might be quite fun. I like to sort of design my figures more now. You know, so just recreating a figure from the past, while it might be quite fun, nostalgia-wise, it's maybe not something that I'd probably deviate from the original design quite a lot. Aster Productions is going to be getting the Guardians of the Galaxy wave, but selling Adam Warlock, Ex Nihilo, Death's Head 2 and Star-Lord without the buff parts. Well, those are the ones I'm after, so I'd be interested in getting those from you. I don't care for the Mantis Build-A-Figure, so I can see I've got many a night ahead of me of filling in these lines. I think I'm only going to be on here about 15 minutes longer, so I want to just get this wash in here and then do a bit of dry brushing. Leave that a second to see if that'll dry up a bit before I dry brush it. Just trying to catch up on your comments, sorry. Benjamin's getting into trouble for answering people's questions. Don't be like that. He does me a favour. Hayden Maldonado asks, would I ever try creating my own Mezco style all cloth figure? Nope. Blade Wilson, is my Mysterio custom scrapped? Yes, it is indeed. No, I won't say it will never be reborn, but for the time being. It's yeah, not going anywhere. Gone off it. Righty. Dry brush, dry brush, dry brush. Sure. Let's get this shot. Now I need a paper towel. It's actually not so different from that shade I've got at the moment. Go with the other one. Brandon Maloney says, damn, we would really like to have seen a good Mysterio too. Yeah, me too. But Action Figure Toronto is in the process of making Mysterio, and he's one of the best customizers out there, so keep your eyes open for that one, please. It will undoubtedly be amazing. Sorry, what's everyone saying? Mick Hoffmeyer asks, will I be seeing Pirates of the Caribbean 5? I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe on a plane somewhere, you know? That kind of movie. I think my husband's quite interested in seeing it, but I don't know. It doesn't look especially different from the other ones, so I don't know. Zombie Pirates, have I kind of past that as a movie-going audience these days? I don't know. I think I'm certainly past Jack Sparrow, to be honest. Oh, I love a dry brush. This brings the grip. Aidan Maldonado says Marvel Legends should make a Mysterio. I believe they are, Aidan. He's rumoured to be in the next Spider-Man series, I think. Tac Tac Custom says, are there any characters from the Amalgam universe you would like to create as customs? Not particularly. Blade Wilson, if you were to make a Marvel Legends custom symbiote Spider-Man, what body mould would you use? I'd probably use the symbiote Spider-Man that's there at the moment, because it's perfectly fine. You don't need to do anything more with it. AWPWN says, did you see the SDCC exclusive Marvel Legends figures? Yes, I did. Those were the Thor ones. They look fine. Not that excited for them, which is always a relief, because it's always difficult to get SDCC exclusives, and you have to pay a lot for them. So I'm not that fussed for these guys. I would like to have them, but that's it. Brandon Maloney, have you ever considered scaling up at all? Not sure what you mean by that, Brandon. Working at a bigger scale, like a 12-inch scale or something? Not particularly. Quantum Fusion, do you think the Destroyer would fit in a movie display like from the first Thor movie? It's kind of a different design, to be honest. There was like a, what was it? It looked about an 8-inch really rotocast Destroyer that came out at the time for the Thor movie. I think that would fit in well enough. It doesn't have really any articulation, but the Destroyer just tends to stand there anyway. Who thinks David Tennant is the best Doctor? Probably a lot of people. What did I forget about you? Dalek News. You've had like I wrote you 4 messages on my YouTube videos today. I don't think I've forgotten about you. It's Christopher Lesnar. Hi Chris, thanks for dropping by. I'm actually just heading off in a moment or two. So, like I said at the start of the stream, I'm heading off on vacation in a couple of days' time, so I won't be doing this again soon, but there may be something else on my channel. Hopefully, like I said, I can live stream from Japan, something toy related. My next steps as far as the customer concerned, let me get this paint out of the way before I wreck my cape with it. The cape, I have to attach it in place, as I showed you guys earlier, to the shoulders. Raggedy up the edges, the bottom edge, and then once I've raggedied that, see if I can wire that as well. I doubt I will be able to, so just raggedy it, and then get my airbrush to it and make this cloth look a bit more realistic. And then I guess I'm dry brushing the destroyer, just adding in some detail. And then we'll see what it looks like at the end, and then maybe the next time you see this guy will be him in his finished state. So yeah, that's where I am with the destroyer. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. I'll spend a couple of minutes more in the chat, and then I'll head off. So thank you anyway. Sorry, so Dalek News is asking me, saying I forgot to answer his question about the lizard. What was his question about the lizard? He said, who wants a lizard bath? Okay, was that directed to me specifically? I don't know. Like, if it's a good bath, then sure. If it's a bad bath, then no. I don't know. I'm not sure. But should I don't know. I guess so. I don't know. Tac Customs. What character would you like to see as an action figure that hasn't been created from movies, comics, or TV? I don't know. There's a ton of them. Thinking off the top of my head. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. There we go. Everyone's saying bye to me. Thank you very much. Enjoy Japan. Thank you. Odiyasu. Astor Productions. Which figure from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume Wave 2 am I looking forward to the most? Adam Warlock, Adam Magus. Star Wars fan. Craig, are you going to be picking up the Netflix wave? I know you don't really get the movie figs, but are the shows different? Not really. The shows are worse. I care less about them. No, I don't think I will. I mean, yeah, I can't think why I would want those figures, to be honest. I'm just trying to think of anyone. Madame Gao would be the only one that I'd want. An old lady. That'd be awesome. That was my favourite movie. My favourite moment in the TV show when she did the sort of crane mother thing. That was really awesome. Everyone's saying enjoy Japan. Thank you very much, everyone. I shall see you around. Thank you for joining me here. Bye bye, I guess. Bye. Where's the stop button? There it is there.